brought to us through the literary committee of the Plagiarists, which is for bringing in outside scripts into the company in order to further develop either pitches, partial scripts, or full scripts. So if you're interested in submitting, we have a specific email for that. It's scripts@theplagiarist.org. And you can send in your info there. You can also go to our website, which is where you can also find ways to like submit and everything. So yeah, we love scripts. We love new work. So that's why we're all here today. So yeah, we're really excited that you're here joining us for this reading. We really, really like this script. It's a really, really cool play. So we're excited to take a look at it today with you. So I probably should have introduced myself first. My name is Christina. I'm the artistic director of The Plagiarists. Today I'll be reading the stage directions for this play. So my video is going to disappear in a little bit, but I'll be reading the stage directions. So actors, if you'd like to go ahead and introduce yourselves.
Hi, I'm Alice Wu. My pronouns are she, her, hers, and I will be playing the engineer today.
Hi, I'm Kylie Anderson. My pronouns are they, them, and I will be reading the technician.
Hello, my name is Arielle Leverett. My pronouns are she, her, hers, and I will be playing the astronaut.
Hi, I'm Clara Byczkowski. My pronouns are she, her, hers, and I'll be playing the executive.
Hi, my name is Julia Stemper. My pronouns are she, her, hers, and I will be reading the volunteer.
Hello, my name is Lynnette Li. My pronouns are she, her, hers, and I will be playing the monitor.
Hi, my name is Grace Hutchings. My pronouns are she, her, hers, and I'm the ace.
Great, thank you guys so much. I forgot to give my pronouns. My pronouns are she, her, hers. And so with this reading, because it is a new script and we are in the process of working through drafts of it, we do have some questions. It's a Google form that you can, I think it'll be in the caption for this video and on Facebook, where you can give us some feedback that we can give to the playwright. Hi, Ryan. We're so excited to read your play. So we highly encourage feedback, and we are really excited to see what everybody thinks about this. So I am going to now disappear, and then we can get this reading started. Yeah? All right, awesome. So I Build Giants by Ryan Stevens. Movement 1, Scene 1. The messy apartment of an engineering grad student. Thick textbooks next to huge stacks of papers, blueprints, designs, scrawled notes, dirty dishes, laundry, etc. A strange metal object is on her desk, glowing with a dim green light. At the start of the show, the engineer turns on a small audio recorder, angles her laptop to face her, turns on an external video camera, starts recording, and leans back in her desk chair.
Entry 722. Testing will commence once OS build complete. Brilliant. Out of every brilliant thought I've had, and I am not being arrogant, they just were brilliant, but this is truly brilliant. This is bigger than a thesis. What's a PhD when you're changing the world? After all of the tests, all of the failures, now at least I understand. I finally feel like a complete fool for not seeing it sooner, but no one has.
She stands and starts sticking sheets of paper, fragments of blueprints, calculations, etc. to the walls.
The logic is this. We build machines with forms that follow their function. 4 wheels are more stable than 2, so we give cars 4 wheels. Bilateral symmetry, pleasing and reasonable. Larger trucks are made to haul larger loads. Tanks are in volatile environments, so they have thick armor. Video game controllers feel like little plastic, like the toys they are, but a little like metal, like a real gun or sword or wheel. Form builds around the function. But sometimes we overdo it. We build these things that are nothing but their function. A crane is its arm. A smartphone is its screen. All elements flow to this prime functionality, but our usual avenue of intelligent design neglects the happy accidents of evolution. We only ever reproduce our design in matters of simulation, prosthetics. our recreation for aesthetic purposes. But what about the function? Why don't we appreciate the harmony that we have in us? How intuitive is it to stretch our legs? How good rolling the shoulders feels?
She finishes a collage of blueprint scraps. It resembles a human nervous system.
The external artifice to increase our own sense of self, our own human functionality on a grander scale, accentuate our positives and expand them into giants. I'm sure they'll be called robots, but this is wrong, of course. A robot is, though not sapient, autonomous, from the Czech robota, forced labor, or rabu, slave. This is not will being overwritten or imposed. This is a limitation being annihilated. It is not a replacement for our human bodies. It is simply an augmentation, an external means. It is not a correction, just an assist. First principle, humanoid structure. Bipedal, standing on 2 legs in an upright posture. Uses 2 arms, each with 5 articulate fingers. Proportions retain humanoid silhouette. Rubenesque figure, weight approximately 400 tons. Maximum speed thresholds will be very low. More time to consider every move, but that's a mercy. They'll be nearly useless in combat capacities, thank God. The human is not the key that starts it. The machine is not the engine that turns. They are both the ignition, and they are both the fuel. The interface will supplement the user's biological need, and the user's neural pathways will guide the operating system. And together, the user and the interface will be stronger, move faster, reach further, and be more. Every limitation surpassed. We are living specimens of harmonious design, and so will these machines be too. Made in our image, not due to vanity, but out of a common vocabulary. Because, of course, what is the human body? With its difficult upkeep and arcane limitations, but a tool for the brain to interact with the world. This is the new body, and we, body and all, are the new brain. But beings need names, names that set them apart from the rest of everything. There is me, and there is you. And what is, by definition, is not something else. The color stays inside the lines, so what are the lines? We've established robot is incorrect, so what do we call them? Mech feels too dispassionate. What are they? Greater skins, outer skins. Greater outer device. No. Greater outer inner system. Greater outer system. Greater outer system for what? Greater outer system manual reach. GOSMR. GOSSAMERS. Cute. The weave of blood vessels, soft folds in the brain, thinnest of thread. GOSSAMERS. I like that.
She hooks up some sensors to her left arm and checks the metallic device. Over the following, she makes small checks and tinkers with the device and the sensors on her arms.
When in the future I return to these recordings in times of stress or confusion, I will hear my voice and I will be frustrated with my own self for not foreseeing all of the problems I couldn't have foreseen. But my future self must remember, I understood and must continue to understand something greater. This is going to work, finally. This is Appendage Sympathetic Response Engine Configuration KZ-9-T44 Build Theta Attempt 1. compiling biodata, synchronizing with subject's heart rate, replicating, heartbeat mirror successful. Something to remember where you came from. Baseline established, synapses aligned, nerves average, begin sync.
A sound of a machine turning like a car's engine.
Commencing muscular test.
The engineer takes some measured breaths and slowly raises her hand. As she does so, the metallic object glows brighter. The light pulses in time with her breathing. She closes her eyes and keeps taking breaths. The engine pulses brighter and brighter. A chime is heard. She opens her eyes, beaming.
You are perfect. You are real. Gossamer Unit 01, the high point. Gossamer Unit Luna, the moon above us, orbiting, always, finally in reach. Gossamer Unit Luna, good morning.
Scene 2, a darker room, sound of a workshop. In the darkness, the small flare and thin smoke of a soldering iron flickers into view. Lights up on the technician, hard at work on a circuit board. They wear heavy gloves, protective apron, and protective goggles. Around them, we see the chorus appear, heads buried in newspapers.
Something brand new.
Something incredible.
Something bright and shining and unseen.
The inventor, a bright young engineer, says,
To make the human construct work on a scale as such, we must expand the shape, but not change the vocabulary.
evolution before our very eyes.
The prototype is coming.
A new age of invention. Soon.
Chorus exits. The technician lifts their goggles, wipes their brow, and opens a can of soda from a small mini fridge under their desk.
So you think you've made a breakthrough here. These massive new hands to sculpt the world. Quite a called shot. It's impressive, of course. But what comes after this? What happens with this technology? Do you realize what you have? One day you're fixing American bridges, the next you're shilling for a shopping website's new delivery drone. There isn't an element of society in the world that wouldn't benefit from this, if they could afford it. And all the inventors you have now, they're not funding you because they want you to save the world. They're funding you because, oh, cool, robot. They're funding you because it's shiny and new and it will be in everyone's mind.
The technician starts soldering again, forgetting to cover their eyes, but it shorts out. They check some wires.
I watched your video. Of course I did. The entire privileged world did. I was in awe. And it gave me this burst of perspective that we are sometimes amazing beings. We put people on the moon. We share information in an instant across the globe. We build cables that run under the ocean. We recreate whole ecosystems in video games just because it's appealing to see. We could do anything. We can do anything. But we don't. We could solve world hunger, but we don't. We could live without hunger, without debt, without malice, without companies and masters, but we don't. We just do not do it. This video must be strange to get out of nowhere, but please listen to me. This is too important. You've got to keep this thing out of the hands of any larger interest. You have to keep your dream on the ground level. Rise it any higher and someone will take it away. Ask any cancer drug ever. Your dreams and your designs will only be supported so long as they can be co-opted. I hope you realize all this already. I hope you're smarter than I think you are. But if you aren't, well, we'll see.
They put their goggles back on.
I'm building things too. Not an outer shell, not an exploration of scale, but an exploration of capacity. You shouldn't have gone bigger. Bigger is easier to notice, but harder to spread. Go deeper.
Scene 3. The engineer sits across from the astronaut. The astronaut is dressed formally for a job interview. The engineer is still in her lab coat.
I hope you didn't mind the rigor of our tests.
Ma'am, after what we went through for NASA, not much phases me.
That's good to hear. So you've reviewed all of the material? I know it can be dense.
If it wasn't, it wouldn't be physics, would it? It all makes enough sense if you look at it for long enough. I guess I have a few questions. I know you've gotten this a lot, but the way it looks, why give it, hands?
Well, I guess I might be a little bit of an auteur, but I feel like it would be a good way to move the concept of the pilot or the operator forward. You aren't moving a crane with hands on a handle. You aren't pushing the gas and the brake pedals with your feet. Their hands flow from your hands, their legs from your legs. It's not just about output and joules of force. Sure, it kind of is, but it's also about rethinking how we are in context with the machine.
Okay, so I guess I'm not as smart as I thought. When I went up to the ISS, I remember thinking, this isn't possible, what this is. Us shooting out, breaching what we call Earth and landing on something that isn't even landed. Not a full planet or moon or anything, just this suspended waypoint, completely its own. It's not even the stuff of science fiction. It's the stuff of miracles. It is outside of everything possible. If I get to pilot this Gossamer, Doctor, I bet it will feel something similar.
I'm happy to hear that. But one thing, just so you know the right term, you won't be a pilot.
Not a pilot.
The Gossamers won't have pilots per se. You will function the same, you will fulfill the same role as a pilot does in a more traditional machine, but the term pilot is, again, I think it's about context. Maybe I'm being obtuse, but the word pilot just didn't sit right with me.
So what would I be called then?
I've been thinking of you as a seam.
A seam.
A place of joining between two pieces. I thought about calling you a needle, the thing that threads through and joins them, but that felt a little too physical, I guess. So you'll be a seam, the area of connection between skin and steel.
We're speaking metaphorically, right? You're not sewing me into this thing, are you?
No, of course not. The interface is very subtle. The portions of the test with the various plugs and...
Right.
That's the current mock-up of the interface, the cockpit in more traditional terms. You might be the first one to utilize it.
The first of how many?
Oh, who knows? I want to move slowly. We'll start with just one, let you try it out, test the limitations in a real environment.
Fine by me. Say, how many people you got lined up for this interview?
Well, normally that wouldn't be something I could discuss with you.
Normally.
But I've made my decision.
Just like that?
Well, your physical results and resume didn't hurt.
Are you saying I got it?
I knew as soon as you spoke on space. I heard how you spoke of the impossible, how it pulls at you, and it pulls at me too. I think the two of you will be great together.
Scene 4, chorus enter. They surround the astronaut, perhaps carrying her as she mimes taking great strides inside Gossamer Unit Luna.
Luna walks.
Luna walks.
The whole world watches.
We are witnesses.
They called it a field test. Crisp morning air, the machine and the handler, the gossamer and the seam. We watched them come together, watched her enter the chest and be sealed up.
And then we watched it come to life, jolting, not awkward, upward, like a body waking up. So pristine and intuitive. a lilt of the neck, the roll of the shoulders.
Watching it stride, watching the dexterity in action, a forklift thumbing through individual wires, unheard of, unimagined.
Hearing its footsteps, the reverb and the gravity under the crunching of concrete.
I could feel it in my home.
From miles away, the magnitude shaking the world. Through the screen, this power, this force did not fall from the sky or come from a storm.
This was built.
This was built by someone.
This was built by someone just like us.
Chorus, leave the astronaut with her arms stretched to the sky. Scene 5. The executive, snappily dressed, stands smirking.
Quite a weekend, wasn't it, gentlemen? Where does an arms manufacturer go in this brave new world of ours? I bet we've all been having some vivid dreams. These GOSSAMERS are fertile. They're going places. I know they look clunky with the little junk in the trunk, and right now they might seem impractical, a one-trick pony and an expensive pony at that, but we all know this is an idea with capital. This is a grower and a shower. Maybe my second favorite invention ever, behind money. Money was the final true great invention, of course. The very concept, the invention of meaning, greater than a tangible thing. Bread is great because it feeds you. A coat has value because it keeps out the cold. But once we got money up and running, Promethean fire, the language of making and unmaking the world, translated to us in plain dollars and cents. We can make and make and make as long as we have people to make it for us. Humanity at its finest, the invisible hand, our hand. Our way of deciding what's real and what has value, unimpeachable, the pinnacle. These GOSSAMERS can be like that too, in the right hands, paradigm smashers. All we have to do is get in on the ground floor. We don't want to trace this thing. We want the genuine article. We don't want a GOSSAMER. No, we want the original thing. I can see the new fleets in the morning sun already. And I hear your concerns. It's untested, it's awkward. Where are the combat applications? All valid questions that we can answer. We can shape the world for this thing. We can make the people need it. We can keep them needing us. All we have to do is strike now while the ink is still wet. I have an in with the engineer's alma mater. She's going to be at a conference next weekend, and I will be there to show her just what she has on her hands. This is how we do what we always do, how we create what's next. We can't let this thing slip away. This is where we're headed. All that's left to be determined is where we sit in the new world. I intend to sit toward the front.
Scene 6, the executive and the engineer. A conference. A blank name tag is clipped to the engineer's coat, one with a corporate logo on the executive's lapel.
Let me start with the obvious. It's an honor to meet you. To be in the presence of such intellect, to breathe the air that powers the brain that built those things. Well, my goodness.
You flatter me.
You've earned it.
This whole weekend has been a lot of kind words and gentle petting. It can be a little stifling.
You want to get out of here? You want to get a drink? Talk whatever you want. Jazz, movies, anything you want. The conference will wait for you. Who wouldn't wait for you?
What company did you say you worked for?
Oh, I'm sure you've heard of us.
I'm afraid I don't think I have much else to say.
Oh, I understand it seems scary, but we're a big company. There's room for lots of new ideas, room for lots of change. The world deserves your absolute best. Don't you agree? How else to achieve your best than with the best resources? Making something like this with your patchwork funding, that couldn't have been easy, could it? That's got to be why you're at conferences like this, right? Grant after grant, proposals without end, so much budgeting. Not with us. The highest ceiling for you to really stretch those thoughts of yours, you aren't at least a little bit curious? You have debt, don't you?
Of course.
Of course. And doesn't that bother you?
I'm aware of it, but I have the future on my side. That's just how I have to live. It doesn't bother me.
Takes up a lot of mental space, all that awareness, doesn't it? We could free you of that. The only thing you'd need to be aware of is what you want.
Ma'am, I want to do my work and build my GOSSAMERS. I want to do what I do best, better than anyone before me has ever done, and I want to take pride in that. I hope you can respect that choice.
What's respect? You have what we want, and we don't have it yet. We respect distance by recognizing it and closing it. We respected the distance to the moon, and then we stamped it with our footprints and our flag. I'm sure we can close this distance of ours too. The offer stands if you choose to let us in.
The engineer exits. Scene 7. The engineer still at the same conference. She sits on a bench doodling something on a pad. The technician approaches her.
Sketching something out?
Oh, you snuck up on me.
Learn to listen better. What do you have there?
Oh, just doodles, letting the hands do the thinking for a while. These conferences, it's all talk, 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 stare, 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 think, think, think. I start to feel like I don't exist below the neck.
Looks like a gossamer.
Oh, maybe. I know you.
Oh?
You sent me a video, the strangest email I've ever gotten. How did you find me?
I knew your school. So I sent it to your first name dot your last name at your school name .edu.
Makes sense.
After I hacked your school's records to make sure.
Now that sounds like the person in the video.
How have you liked your success?
Oh, well, I wouldn't want to lie. It's gratifying to see them resonate with so many, to see the concept get picked up. It's nice.
I imagine so. You did something special. You're going to change the way our brains work.
I don't know about that.
Think of life before the car, before the smartphone, before the telephone. These were things for which we had no frame of reference. And then an invention came along. And then someone says, let there be the new thing. And lo, there is a new thing. And the world changes. And the mind changes with it.
I'm glad you're so enthusiastic about them. I remember you weren't as positive before.
I never said these were good things.
Excuse me?
Just because something is a change, just because something is new, just because something hasn't been done before, that doesn't make the thing good. Not on its own.
You're still scared of the GOSSAMERS.
The GOSSAMERS. No, that is not what I am scared of. I'm not upset that you didn't take my advice. I get it, really, I do. But I am scared of who gets these GOSSAMERS.
Research groups, infrastructure repair, nonprofits.
Companies, institutions, entities. And these entities are going to be the ones that point the GOSSAMERS at which situations deserve their attention and which ones don't. That is what scares me. These things are still controlled by companies with money who want more.
Hey, I hear your criticism. If I could, I'd build the GOSSAMER for every project proposal we get, but we don't have the resources yet. Frankly, I don't have the time to oversee them all, and I could delegate the part of the job and I could step back, but I won't do that for this exact reason. To be responsible. The power of progress is for the people.
For people, certainly. But when you say the people, you mean a people. Even when you don't mean that, the words do. And when you say
a people, you mean these people here and not those people there. You can't comprehend what will happen when you do step back.
I won't.
Who says it's up to you?
My Gossamers won't be anything but what I want for them. They could be our next step.
I always think it's funny when people like us, verified geniuses with degrees to prove it, end up saying or doing something that is just flat out stupid. Look at you. You built God on your apartment floor with a screwdriver, and you have no idea. Any of your seams could feel like taking a joyride or sell it to the Lockheed Martin. People are already trying to counterfeit you. Anything can happen, and statistically, that means it absolutely will. Someone watched them, and that someone will remember how you made them change, and they will chase that feeling.
I respect your passion, and I thank you for bringing up these concerns, but I have the Gossamers, and I trust them, and I trust myself.
What do you think they are going to do, if not leave you?
They'll grow, yes. They'll grow with me, and we'll grow into them. It's not just the world outside. The world we live in is filled with people and their agendas and their impulses, and that's the problem, certainly. But you said it yourself. We can change the way we think. We can broaden it. Do I think the Gossamers will do it on their own? No, but we can't let the fear of the unknown keep us grounded. This is going to bend us towards the better. I hope you can understand.
You're gambling with everyone's world. And when you bust, so many people will be harmed because you thought your arms were strong enough to hold the future.
The technician exits. Scene 8, the engineer back in her apartment with the metal object from the beginning. She takes a screwdriver and slowly unscrews a panel.
They're wrong. You're better than that. You are brilliant. We're brilliant. We are just, we're so safe. Just to be safe. I'll never need to do it, but I have one more gift to give you, and I hope you never have to open it.
Movement 2, Scene 1. Chorus enter dressed in blue jumpsuits, miming working on an assembly line.
Beautiful.
Gossamer Unit Cygnus will stretch her wings and sit in clouds and examine the sky above us.
Test the atmosphere.
Drop water on wildfires.
Airlift from disasters.
She will soar, she will float, she will fly.
Full multi-axis maneuverability, automatic pressure adjustment, augmented depth perception, ample additional seating for evacuees. She will save the skies.
Gossamer Unit Delphinus will sink and she will swim. She'll coast through the waves, tested for Marianas Trench depths, can store a maximum 2-month supply of oxygen, convert water into atmosphere substitute.
Emission-free. She won't stay in her home, but she can take in and eliminate pollutants.
Stimulate reef growth.
Detoxify oil spill sites.
Purge microplastics.
Delphinus will return the ocean to itself.
Gossamer
Unit
Sagitta.
Oh, beautiful.
Gossamer Unit Sagitta will go beyond and explore beyond our own universe.
3-dimensional deep space mapping. Long-range topographical scanners. Intercept debris.
Designed for multi-year space exploration.
At speeds thought only hypothetical, making speculation into fact.
We'll carry over the air supply system from Delphinus, insulate cabin with endless reconfigurations of fail-safes and redundancies.
Systems upon safety upon safety. The journey to the furthest horizons must be protected.
Where the Hubble only looked, Sagitta will touch, and we will see how far the horizon goes.
This is the next step. This is how we go from land to the stars. The Gossamers aren't done. We still have room to grow. Whoever marries you, Sagitta, we will take care of them.
Scene 2, the astronaut and the monitor on a balcony. sound of ocean waves.
She's so nice. Much nicer than I thought. I mean, don't tell her I said that. She always seemed nice, and you made her sound nice, of course, but wow. She really...
The way her eyes light up.
Yes. Ugh, I can't believe you got this for me.
Are you serious? NASA, NORAD, SETI Institute? You're like the perfect candidate.
But you've actually been to space.
Well, so what? Big deal. You met one astronaut, you met them all. But you are special and a genius.
They kiss.
I always feel strange about SETI. Right there on the page in big capital letters. This person got paid to hope aliens are real.
It's prestigious.
It's a tinfoil hat with a fancy name.
But it still got you the job. It shows that you're not afraid of anything out there.
I hope it shows I'm skeptical. All the other true believers might hear any sound rattling around up there and immediately cry, aliens! They needed someone less eager for the unknown. Still, from what I've seen and heard, the math actually checks out somehow. Monitor and ground controller to Gossamer Unit Sagita on its premiere voyage. And it might even actually happen.
I could have your voice in my ear the whole time.
I'm gonna drive you crazy.
Nonsense.
I drove you crazy on the ISS mission.
That was different.
Oh, how was it different?
Well, for one, you really are a hard ass about airlocks.
Those are very important.
And also, I was trying to hide a crush on you then. Now that we know where we stand, we'll be good.
I'm gonna do my best to drive you crazy, talking your ear off, because otherwise I'll go crazy down here without you. You see the moon?
Of course.
That's the first moon Neil Armstrong walked on.
You walked on other ones?
No, but you will.
You sound optimistic.
I know, it's strange. I might be.
Scene 3, a dark room. The volunteer sits wearing a smock for an operation. The technician scrubs up where Mime's doing so elsewhere on stage.
I'm not mad at anyone or anything, honest. My body, like any other body, is built to break. We have what do you call it? The thing phone companies do to make sure you got to buy a new one every few years. Planned obsolescence. We are built to break down, you know? Cells age, they die, we keep regrowing till we can't no more. These things can't go on forever. Still, it stings when your body doesn't show up for the work. I worked at that factory for 19 years. That really isn't that long. My mom, she worked 43 years before she retired. Well, retired due to a heart attack. I've seen accidents. I know how it works. Slip up, slack off, get crushed. I mean, all in all, you know, I was pretty lucky. I didn't have to lose the arm. I can't do much with it. And of course, I'm in the union, and of course, we demanded compensation. But this was an especially bad time to get injured. See, the whole factory was on the verge of obsolescence on account of new automated machines a few states over where the tax breaks were. So the fellows at the office said I was about to be let go anyway. So they paid for a few weeks PT and told me so long. Sorry, I couldn't shake your hand when we met.
That's quite all right. You owe me nothing. Are you ready?
It's gonna hurt.
I won't lie to you. Subcutaneous injections of polymer knit receptors to help you feel triple-threaded carbon bone substitute, insertion of muscle awakening microgenerators to coax out your mobility, biogelatinous prosthetics for soft tissue, magnetized calcium inserts, closed loop lactic acid magnet, you're pulling a lot out and you're putting a lot in. So yes. And I'm afraid painkillers will interfere with the transplant process. So they'll be feeling all of it. Bringing something back to life is certain to be painful.
Hell, that's okay. I don't want you or God, anyone to think I needed this, though. I have a life. I have routines. I'm used to this. The pain's my normal, and I do live with it. I want this to hurt. I want to make sure God knows I earned it.
No need for all that. You earned it by living in the right time, by being curious enough to answer when I asked.
Curious. I like that. Yeah, I guess it's true. I am curious about how the world could be, what else I could do.
We'll find out. I could tell you the specifics. I've already told you the figures and the projected results and what the implants are meant to do, but we won't know until we know.
Ready then, doctor? Ready when you are.
You should know legally, I'm technically not a doctor, more of a technician.
Just as well. I've known plenty of machines with pissy attitudes like people have. Close enough for me.
Scene 4. The executive and the astronaut over drinks.
What are the odds? I can't believe I found you here. I mean, you. First seemed to unit Luna, and now this. How exciting that must be.
I consider myself very lucky. The opportunities that I've found myself in.
When you were starting out at NASA, did you ever think you'd end up here?
God, no, how could I? I've spent so much of my life being blown away by the world and just diving in. Space is big. That's what got me. It just continues. It's so deep and vast that your mind withers in the face of it.
You're doing a brave thing, and your nation thanks you. The world thanks you, sure. We're all watching you out there. We all can't wait to see what you do.
The engineer's a brilliant one. She thinks we'll get visuals on things we can't even predict. This launch unit, have you seen the specs? The biggest thing they've ever shot into space. They had to pull physicists out of retirement for this. Big son of a gun. Like launching the Washington Monument out into the atmosphere so I can get enough momentum to go far enough, fast enough to make it. All this for Sagita to kick off and send the rest burning up on re-entry. A monument burning into nothing to get me there.
Your name is going to be immortal. You know that. Just you wait. You're going to be a constellation.
Think so?
And you know, a lot of people will benefit from this more than you realize, more than that engineer of yours might realize. It's kind of a contradiction, isn't it?
What is?
Oh, I've met her. We share an alma mater, and we're honestly good friends. So sometimes I get a little frustrated and don't know how to bring it up. But she has that incredible mind of hers. But she doesn't let these ideas reach their full potential. She thinks she's the only one who can think this big, which, fair play, she certainly is the first to make it work. But that doesn't mean she's an island. Where would she be without other people? Without people like you? Now, this Sagita project is a step in the right direction. Sagita wouldn't have happened without collaboration, government grants. But imagine what she could be, what they could be, what we could be if more people could play with these toys and we made them truly free. Think what she could reach then.
You're getting a little out of my wheelhouse. I could maybe talk to her, I guess.
Oh, that'd be super. Or you could just let a friend have a look.
I think I've hit my limit. I need to keep my intake controlled for the mission.
Of course. Just Consider it.
Even if I would, what could you even offer me compared to what I'm getting?
Fame can fade. Life is long and strange. Capital is dependable.
You're talking to the wrong person.
Scene 5, a dark room, the technician and the volunteer. The technician inspects the volunteer's arm, occasionally making notes.
The next session is going to be a long one. We'll be going under the last layers of muscle to insert the final filament walls.
So more pain.
Yes.
That's just a lot simpler than trying to remember about filament wetsets and muscle layers and everything. I'll take a shot before I come in.
I can have something here for you. What do you prefer?
You serious?
For you? Of course. Whiskey person? Or are you more of a rum woman?
Tequila, personally. Always have been. Used to be I could put it away like water till my eyeballs were floating. Stagger my way to bed at night and stagger into work the next morning. Still drunk. It's a miracle I've made it this far.
Well, with any luck and more than a little bit of skill, we'll make sure you make it even further.
What about you, Doc?
Me. I guess I'll be here as long as I can too. Same as anyone else, really. It's a miracle I've made it this far too, for different reasons.
No, I meant drinking. What's your poison?
I don't drink.
Never?
I worry it could be laced with something.
Even if you buy it from the store?
I guess not. I guess I just prefer to stay on. Getting drunk or high or anything, it would leave me open. I could let myself down. I could let you down. We have to get it right.
You sound like you'd be hell as a boss.
My passion doesn't leave a lot of room for recreation.
You just tinker away 24/7.
I do clock out sometimes. Like, I guess I have hobbies. I read.
That it?
Well, there's one other thing. Don't laugh.
I won't laugh.
It's going to be anticlimactic. I'm building up to it too much. I play video games a lot.
Yeah?
Keeps the reflexes up.
You're online at like 3 a.m. screaming at some kid across the globe on Call of Duty?
No, nothing like that. Never online. That's too great of a risk. I just play fighting games against the computer. Nothing but button mashing. It soothes out the brain for a little while. Then I'm back at the drawing board, making fixes.
Well, hey, when we finish this, let's go get a drink somewhere and then we'll play some of your video games to celebrate.
I'd like that. Injecting in 3, 2. That dye will help me locate points to focus the next round of injections. Then those joints should be fixed and working more in line with how they should.
I trust you. You know, I'm not looking to get fixed or anything, right?
Oh, yeah, of course not.
It's just, again, I trust you. Just wanted to say it, to have said it.
Of course.
You're not fixing me. And I'm not some kind of isolated case. There's not an age limit or a size limit on this thing. There's no single demographic for it. It's just part of my life. And these injections, these changes, they're great, but they're not me. I am me. Okay. I just wanted to put it out there so we know where we stand. That F word bothers me.
Yes. I'm sorry for implying I might be fixing you. You were right to say something. Thank you.
I know you're good. Don't worry about it.
Gin. I used to drink gin.
You drank Christmas trees.
I did. The burn was part of the fun. This next one is going to sting.
Scene 6, night. On one side of the stage, the engineer, constantly working, seated at a workbench, head down in her notes. On the other, the astronaut on the balcony overlooking the ocean.
The gossamers are the body, the seam is the brain, and the space between, well, something new is happening. We're understanding it day by day. But it is not actually all that new, is it? Shifts happening inside someone, the changing of the self, sometimes an engine does not mesh with the body of a vehicle. A program is incompatible with the hardware. The format does not sync up. Nothing is intrinsically wrong with the engine nor the vehicle, one system or another. They are simply not simpatico. But we as humans are blessed in that we have mismatched aspects and the interior does not fit how we wish to be. We can address them. And we as humans have the cognition to know when the pieces, though no fault of our own or our own, do not quite fit. It is not that things are wrong, they just are not quite right. And we can make adjustments mentally and physically, alter the self to fit with the self. With our bodies, with our organs, with ourselves in the mirror, with our names, or with our others in space. In the world at large, let the universe see us and be seen by us. Sagita, find the secrets and the heart of space, and show us how far the body can go too. We redefine the body, redefine the self, and redefine space. The body and the mind becoming boundaryless. We'll see what we can be, and then we'll see what we are now.
You might need to actually sleep at some point tonight. Big day tomorrow.
The big day is coming in the same number of minutes, whether I'm awake or not. Let it come. I could sleep on the flight.
Your monitor might get pretty annoyed if you sleep through the mission.
Well, I'm sure we could work something out. You're shaking.
It's nothing.
You're nervous. I'm nervous too.
Just excited. Look at us, like children on Christmas Eve.
It's gonna be okay. I'll have you the whole time.
I know.
Just a few months. Just think of it as a few months. Just a number of months that can only go down. We can do this. Think of what we're doing.
That's why I'm shaking. That's fear, sure. There's this longing. We both know is on its way. And also,
What else?
there's the gravity. There's the power of what we're doing here. The future is pulling us toward it. There's no way around it. It's there.
Just going through above and beyond directions relative in space, but you get what I mean.
That's a stupid joke.
Mine tend to be.
Like, I don't know that.
You've got it all figured out. Now, when I'm gone,
Okay. Hold on, let me get ready.
I'm just going to say, when I'm gone, don't take it too hard. Get back to your hobbies, watch movies, socialize, enjoy things I'll be missing. Don't seal yourself up to match me, okay?
Of course. Don't worry. You'll have so much catching up to do. I'll keep diligent records.
You should win a Nobel for going through this.
We'll split it.
The monitor holds the astronaut tight. The engineer on the other side of the stage has fallen asleep at her desk at some point.
It's gonna be okay.
Yes,
I'm so proud of you.
thank you. I'm proud of you.
And I'm sorry, but I think it's time for bed. Come to bed. Tomorrow won't wait.
The monitor and the astronaut exit, leaving the engineer alone asleep. Scene 7, The volunteer in a park feeding pigeons. The technician sitting nearby trying to look inconspicuous.
It sure is something else. I got feelings, sensations, so small. I never knew that details could be that small. This is like learning there are new colors. I can do shit no one else at work can swing. I'm pulling weight like a bull. I'm seeing depth like a hawk. I take a shower. I can see the water drops one by one. I can count those suckers.
Any drawbacks? Motor control hiccups, false signals, phantom limb feedback?
A little tightness at the shoulder, sort of chafes sometimes, but it's not too bad.
I'll look at it.
It's nothing new.
We're not done till it's perfect.
Oh, what's perfect? I'm good. I'll let you look at it, sure, but listen, I am good. Not that I've lost anything, but now I am more than I was.
More than anyone was. More than anyone's ever been.
More than you, even?
Of course.
I was just joking.
Well, I wasn't. The light bulb didn't matter until someone turned it on.
You see about how they're sending a gossamer off into space? Crazy.
All while people starve down here on Earth.
Not a fan of space?
Of course I am. Who looks up at the sky and sees that gentle emptiness and doesn't want to explore it? We have just as many mysteries in us. And when we solve those, we will take notice and improve. But space, unless I'm wrong, which does happen, space will remain space. I'd rather find the treasures in our own mysteries and bring them to the world that needs them.
When will it be done?
Never. It's never done until the universe stops turning.
Scene 8. The engineer, the technician, the monitor. The astronaut in the center, held by course members, mimes doing various checks and routines.
Sagita.
Sagita is launching.
Soon.
The world will see us strive for these new heights.
The reach extending. The sky opening.
Heaven's walls come crumbling down.
Sagita will crest at the peak of creation.
Upward and inward.
Exploration and integration.
Sagita breathes with its seam. Sagita and her astronaut allow each other to breathe.
Breathe in like this.
Breathe out like this.
I have a job to do. I'm the monitor. I will be in communication with her every day. And that kindness keeps me sane. My North Star, guiding me into the unknown, guiding us into progress. I just hope I can guide her home.
Somewhere a child is watching this. A child will see what's done today and they will think, I want to do that. And then after they've sat with this for years, they'll think, I can do better. And what is better? Better for everyone, better for the world, better for the bank accounts, better can be dangerous. When you move in any direction, you leave some place behind.
5,
When you return,
4,
I will monitor the job.
3,
Be guided home, please.
2,
life will be better.
1.
And I will not let go. Trust I won't let go.
Lift off.
The chorus lifts the astronaut and she flies. The engineer, the technician, and the monitor watch. Movement 3, scene 1, a dark room. The volunteer sits on a cold bench.
I got rights, you know. I'm a citizen. I deserve some representation here. You can't just pull me out of my home like this. It's been hours, I think. Hello? You took my phone, my watch. I have no idea what's going on. Won't someone come talk to me?
Do you even need a phone anymore?
Who are you? Why'd you put me here?
To you, I am a resource. The question really is, what are you? Because those rights you mentioned, those are only for specific human citizens of this country as we define it.
The hell do you mean?
You were on record conferring with a dangerous domestic terrorist, a known cyber criminal, with years of transgressive activity, and you yourself are no stranger to that behavior. Now, you aren't a terrorist, yet, technically, but we saw some socialist leanings in your past, attended several protests, an awful lot of interest in unions. It's not a very patriotic look.
I'm not worth all this. I'm nobody.
Ordinarily, I'd agree with you. But your meetings with this person of interest have actually made you into something quite valuable. All the goodies that were put inside you. As if we haven't been scanning you and running tests this entire time you've been here, which, to be clear, has not been hours. It has been days.
I just wanted something to help get me through one day, just some honest to God relief. And this stuff isn't mine to give. I told them they could trust me. I gave my word.
Are you sure there's not a little wiggle room? It pays to have friends. And this friend pays deliciously. And I have friends everywhere. Halliburton and Delight, Homeland Security, the GOSSAMERS, the Sajida Project, resources that could really fix you. What good is the new arm if you can't reach out and touch anyone? And as long as you're in here, you'll be out of everyone's reach.
I want no part in this. This is me and this is mine. So you take all your money and your friends and all of you all together can kiss my ass.
Okay. It's just fine. You don't want to give. That's what taking is for.
Scene 2, a lab. The engineer plays Black Sabbath type metal from her phone, tinny and barely able to fill the space. The sounds of machines whirring, welders working, metal scraping just off. Chorus members handling the scene transition wear orange vests and goggles. The engineer is unrolling and inspecting various sets of blueprints. The engineer looks back and forth through the blueprints while she speaks into a handheld recorder.
It's funny. There's a late night talk show on, I forget which one, but the host, he joked, "Could I get a gossamer? That's just a tank with a jacuzzi inside." And the audience laughed. And he laughed and I laughed. When my sister sent me the clip, I laughed because of the juxtaposition of all of the things gossamers could be and his idea of what they could be. We're so far apart, they actually looped back around to be similar. Comfort and protection, ease of life, relief. Is that what they are? What else could fit under the name gossamer? If I were to cut off my arm and replace it with a gossamer coated arm with the same response system speaking the same language, would it be an arm? Or would it be a gossamer? Would I be a seam? Gossamer unit lefty, gossamer unit southpaw, maybe. If I were a boxer, well, I guess I could be then, even if I wasn't already. I just have to make sure I hit first. But I could drop it all today and become a boxer without losing a hand. And the body has been changeable before. Gossamers didn't do that, just people. When do we as humans stop adapting? When are we out of beta? This begs the question if we are approaching life as utility or as a game. Surely it has to be a little bit of both. Surely neither one suffices. Whatever we are and whatever I've made, one thing is constant. There is always tomorrow's changes. Maybe that's what the gossamer's down when you boil it down. Potential, or another way to reach what we could have been. They have made their maker proud. Being real means we have seen them and now we've grown attached. As I pass them in the hangar, I am always unable to suppress a greeting. I say hello to them. I nod my head in recognition, and I've seen others do it too. Civilians, their own seams. We give agency so quickly and so entirely, but it's not such a surprise, not with gossamers at least. They have our shape. So it's not unrealistic to think maybe We might have given them some of our soul.
The engineer picks up a remote and turns on a TV. She is bathed in light from the screen. Chorus enter around the engineer, speaking as TV anchors.
Beautiful footage today from Gossamer Sagitta and its intrepid seam.
High definition images of Jupiter, clear and pristine.
Look at that clarity, Mark.
My God, that could be my backyard.
Coasting by, just coasting by.
And the gravity of this giant, the greatest mass in the entire system, beyond anything we imagined, now in Sagitta's rear view as she cruises onward.
On to the grand, deep unknown.
Scene 3, the technician, illuminated only by the glow of a computer screen and the smaller glow of a phone.
I need you to respond. I need confirmation you are still operating. Please? I gave you the resources. I gave you ways to contact me. I know I made it clear how important it is to... I do know. I do know this. And I trust you, and I know you are smart and capable and thorough as well. That's how we are able to do this. So I have to ask you, since you've disappeared on me, since you, for all intent and purposes, vanished into smoke, all I can do is hope that you've let me down. Tell me you were just busy being lazy and enjoying your new situation. You've lost in the fun of it. You're on a joyride with all those new nerves, and you've forgotten to contact me. God, I hope that's all it is. Let me be disappointed and not horrified. Let me know you're alive, please. Your survival is imperative. Not for the project, not for the research, but it is imperative because you deserve it. You have earned happiness. And if I have somehow cost you that, I don't know what I'll do.
Scene 4, the engineer and the monitor over coffee.
I won't take long. Thank you for meeting me.
Oh, of course. You're indispensable. If you've noticed anything wrong with Sagitta, you bring it right to me.
Nothing's wrong with Sagitta. Yet.
Then what seems to be the problem?
There's potential. I'm worried about the potential for any number of problems, and if they happen, the unit is getting further and further away from us. It's already beyond our reasonable reach. Soon it will be beyond theoretical reach too. We're running out of hypothetical.
The Gossamer was designed with these potentials in mind. It has dozens of life support fail-safes. It could survive a month on total power failure. We tested it, we built it, we double-checked. If something goes wrong, we'll walk the seam through repairs.
And if the seam can't do it?
Are you sure you didn't notice anything specific?
Yes, I'm sure. Right now, you are right. Right now, everything is fine with the machine and with the seam. All systems are stable, strong even. But all due respect.
Oh, we don't need to do that.
All due respect. There can't be nothing to look out for. There has to be something that could go wrong. I'm used to people. Scientists, sure. Experts, yes, but people all the same. Who believe that if they dream big enough and loud enough, then they'll just will little green men into existence. But no matter how hard and how strong their faith was, the broadcasts from other worlds failed to appear. And all of their broadcasts, as full as they were with hope and resolve and fervent certainty we weren't alone, all of the broadcasts remained unanswered. Maybe some static or some sort of echoes coming off an asteroid, but nothing really concrete. Theirs was a mistake of assuming there was more than we could prove. Yours is the opposite. We can't account for the unknown.
You're right. I can't. But I'm confident we are as close as possible. And I'm confident we have as many tools and options as possible to make sure that if the unknown comes...
When?
Fair enough. When the unknown comes, we'll rise to meet it. We'll adapt, and your wife will make it home safe. Trust me.
I want to. But
your job is to foresee problems. You can't help it.
I worry.
I get it.
I don't know how you can.
Do you know how the GOSSAMERS engine runs? Not the mechanics, really, but the rhythm?
I don't.
It's a mirror of my heartbeat. I was stuck at a dead end for how to install an internal rhythm for them, and it hit me. We have a great one, so I synced us up. Every gossamer, each and every one, is repeating my own heartbeat. When it thumps in my chest, I know it's thumping in theirs too. The engines and receptors pumping in time. It's not an easy ask to ask this of you or her, but we do it anyway. We send something with our own heart out into that unknown because they'll come back. We've done the math. People like us, we know not to leave it to chance.
So that's it? Just trust it'll all work out?
No, just trust yourself to do your job and catch anything that goes wrong, and trust me to have seen it coming beforehand. I hate to do this, but I have a meeting I have to get. Listen, I understand this conversation isn't over. Let's pick it up again sometime. You're right to worry, and I'm not telling you to stop, but we're in control, okay?
The engineer starts to exit before the monitor can say anything. The monitor watches her go. Scene 5, the sound of explosions. The ace enters in a windbreaker and a t-shirt with a cartoon character on it.
Hey, did you see that? That was so cool. That was all me. That's a high score. That's a high score for sure. Still kind of sounds stupid, but Dad, the commander says it'll help morale to call it a high score. I know what it really was. A totally successful strike.
The ace takes off the windbreaker and t-shirt, revealing a bodysuit with a serial number.
Look at me, dude. Look at me, a hero. If I ever have to go back to school, I'm going to be the coolest person ever. A war hero before I can legally drink, before I can drive. Before any of that, I am the best weapon in the world. I kind of be on the news any day now. I'm doing so good. Unit Cerberus and I are heroes, and no one can stop that. I run and I jump and I swing my fists. I shoot those guns and I rain fire down on my enemies, on this nation's enemies, on every enemy. I am told this is what a hero looks like.
The ace changes out of sneakers and into combat boots. The ace puts on dark gloves.
Dad says I have something really special. He says I have an opportunity to serve this country and make everyone proud, to keep people safe from enemies. I asked what enemies he meant. All kinds. Enemies we don't even know yet. He says he pulled a lot of strings to get me my test. He says they had applications in the thousands, but the scientists say the strain for combat, the strain is too much for an old brain. It needs someone young to grow with, someone pumping up energy, someone who's growing up, not growing old. The weapon wants a future, so I gave it mine. It's an easy life. To let to the other kids, this isn't even hard most of the time. I get to just stay in my room, watch TV, play games, read. I let them watch me and run their tests and whatever. I bring my food to my room. I can't leave the room yet unless it's a mission. They don't want anything to distract me or affect performance. I just bang out until the alarm hits, then bam, I am ready, I am up, and I am out. And we are tearing things up.
The ace puts on a dark skull cap and starts applying dark war paint under the eyes.
This is my life now. They say I'll have this job until the GOSSAMERS get upgraded for adult use or until I die, which will be never, of course, because I'm the pilot. I'm outclassing guys who's on their like 5th tour. I'm an ace, and I'm keeping people safe. For every one I kill, For every bloody little face I see from far away with nothing in their eyes, no one home, I sit inside that gossamer and remember, that's not one of us. It's no one to me. That's what a weapon does, and I am so dangerous.
The ace scratches their neck, pulling the black bodysuit down a little, giving just a glimpse of a horrible burn scar across the whole top of the body.
And once they figure out how to make me sleep a whole night, once they overwrite my brain, I'll be top of the world.
A siren.
All right. I'm alive. I'm the best gossamer pilot here. Gotta hang up now. See you later. Tell everyone at school to remember me. Peace.
The ace exits. Scene 6. The engineer watching TV again. The chorus around the engineer as before.
And in other news,
In more somber news,
Elsewhere in the news.
Tragedy.
horrible scene.
After a successful deployment abroad,
civilian death toll.
Not civilians, protesters.
Dead. No matter what.
Protests grew violent.
would not peacefully disperse.
Gossamer unit Cerberus on domestic soil.
The ace breaks away from the chorus and stands illuminated.
Look at that design.
Vicious.
Breathtaking.
No statement has been issued.
Additional protests.
We have reports there are others.
More of these.
A whole new line.
The engineer exits. The ace fades away. The monitor and the executive break from the chorus.
You didn't tell me this is what you'd build.
Don't be so sour. You got what you were promised, and not a penny less. What are you so worried about? It's in the right hands.
Lights down on them as the executive walks past the monitor. Movement 4, Scene 1. The engineer scrambling through notes in a cheap hotel. The technician opposite her.
Oh, I should have known. Maybe I did know, but I was just comfortable in my own life. Things were good. We were doing so well. Oh, I should have known. I never should have taken my eyes off the gossamer, how the gossamers were perceived, who was looking, who was watching. The way it moved is how I knew. The fluidity in the joints, that's a gossamer's movement pattern. That's my movement pattern. That's my thumbprint on those corpses. Those graves are dug because of me.
Well, at least we agree now. You gave them a new language, so they made new obscenities. Same as it ever was. They probably have fleets of them.
We have to stop them, destroy them.
How do you plan to do that?
I could build other ones, stronger ones. Those are just cheap knockoffs, imitations. They want a war, I'll show them a war machine.
So they can imitate that. I bet if you came forward, they'd still give you a job. You could make a tidy little sum out of all this.
Please do not mock me.
I promise you I'm not enjoying it. The powers that be have always had you right where they wanted you, because if they didn't, you'd never have gotten there in the first place. Say I agree to help you. Say we agree to build a bigger gun than theirs. How do we do that? Do you have the money needed to build a gossamer? Do you have the resources, the facilities? Do you have anyone who'd sell to you knowing who you're going against?
We do not have time to wait for a good idea to drop out of the sky. Can't you help me?
I want to. I do. But I can't put your fires out, and nothing can unlight them. How badly do you want to undo this? How much are you willing to unbuild?
Scene 2. The astronaut in the cockpit of the Sagida.
Can't stop thinking of it as sky. I see this blackness, a dark that's tangible, and I see the stars, and I see the stuff that we used to think of as celestial bodies. And I still think, what a beautiful sky. We will be in viewing range of Saturn in 48 hours. Sagitta's systems are stable, optimal even. Fuel output adjusting to all the trace gravities, neutral lace is keeping me stable. My vitals are good. heart rate good, metabolism unfazed, blood pressure a little high, but I think we could chalk that up to my excitement. I don't think I've ever been this well rested. Sakita really gets me. I don't know how she built this thing to give it so much intuition, maybe. But Sakita just gets me. I know it's late back home, so I'm not expecting a response. You'll get me when you wake up. But I was wondering, if possible, if you could, in 48 hours, when I come up on Saturn, would you mind staying up to watch it with me? I don't mind being alone. It's not bad. I think you'd like seeing it live and in the moment, not a replay with everyone else in the world. The moon was one thing, but this will be something brand new. And the world will get it later, but for a little bit, it could be ours. Just ours. If you can't make it, or you just don't feel like staying up that late, it's okay. I'll understand. It'll be late. But in case you do, I'd like that.
Scene 3. The volunteer and the technician in a bowling alley. The volunteer moves slowly with a lot of pain.
Sorry for the trouble.
You didn't cause any trouble. I'm glad you finally found a way to reach me. I was terrified. I had no idea what to, or where to. I was sure I'd never hear from you again. I tried to find you. I could be in jail for about 9 lifetimes for all the ways I tried to find you.
I didn't say a word to them. I didn't say a thing about you. But I didn't need to. They told me about you. They told me your names, showed me pictures, but I never said anything, never a yes or a no. Nice while it lasted.
We could do the procedure again. I could replace it all.
It ain't the not having it. That's something I was used to. What gets me is that I'm not allowed to decide what I am. What really gets to me is I have no say. I get it. I lose it. I get it again. It's taken. Like Lucy with the football. What a gag.
The people that did this to you, I'll find them. Somehow I'll find them and I'll get them back. This isn't over.
Hey, do what you want. Give them Al. They were a lot less gentle than you were. Your thing hurt, but those people, they were wounding me. More power to you. You want to fight them. But I'm going home. I'll be fine. Pissed off. Probably on some government list now. Probably can't fly anymore, but fine.
But they hurt you.
Of course. I'm not the kind of person society lets jump ahead. So I got shoved to the back of the line. Nothing new.
How can you be so... Why aren't you angrier?
Because I've got no one to take it out on besides me. And I really don't deserve that. I'll make it work for me one way or another. I can't see myself as trapped in here. I see this as home. And if it doesn't work out, then we'll work it out.
The volunteer exits. In transition, the sound of breaking glass. Scene 4. Chorus members dressed as police shove the engineer, lips split, one eye blackened, face bruised, and hands cuffed behind her back onto a bench.
You are under arrest for domestic terrorism. You have the right to remain silent.
Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law.
You have the right to...
Oh, who cares? None of that matters now. Get up!
Hey, get up. You're coming with us.
I understand.
Oh, she understands. She understands. Understand this. Some harsh truths, big brain.
Should have known when to quit. Kind of money you could have been making and you want to cause trouble?
Glad she understands, because I tell you, I sure don't.
Thinks she's a real spy, a real rebel, like she could ever hide.
Like there's anywhere left to hide from us. We are the country, we are the land. Every time your foot hits the ground, that's our property.
Could have played nice and been rewarded, but no. Had to be right. Well, how does being right taste? A lot like blood, yeah?
Come on, big brain. Let me get a picture.
My son's got a poster of Luna over his bed. He'll love this.
Mine too.
Is there an objective here?
Ow, someone's cranky.
Oh, rude after getting woken up, huh? Smug.
Just because she saw some doodad no one else saw, she thinks she's special.
Well, sorry, but the law doesn't care how smart you are. If you're dumb enough to mess with Uncle Sam, we don't care.
Well, at least we agree there. I've been stupid, intolerably stupid to think that this world would ever keep anything free from blood. Blood moves the world, I guess.
Oh, boo-hoo. Someone's a sore loser.
Those new Gossamers were badass. You wish you built them.
Those are going to be the only ones anyone remembers.
Well, hey, get some rest now. Back to dreamland, genius. Tell yourself you'll figure it out.
Scene 5. The technician in darkness hammering at a keyboard. A knock from off. The technician stops working, looks up. Another knock.
Who's there?
You can trust me.
I know I can trust you. You knocked instead of kicking down the door. What do you want?
You seen the news?
Yes, it's all nightmares all the way down.
You saw they arrested.
I've seen it all. Now tell me something I don't already know. Who are you?
I still work on, I'm the monitor on the Sagita project. I work with the GOSSAMERS. You need to help her. I did something terrible. And now all this.
Really?
I was worried about what would happen if Sagita failed. If we lost her, my life would be over. My wife is the seam. And I was worried in the time she's gone, the whole world could change, already has changed. And I was a little, I don't know, resentful that she was going. And she sent her out there and I was left with nothing.
So you
Did something.
something terrible. Yes, you said.
I made a deal. I just made a deal to have a conversation, to talk about the GOSSAMERS and send over a few scans. In total, I think an hour of my time. And they took it from there. They promised me money, yes, and assurance. They promised me Sagita would turn around and have extra support to bring her back. But now they've stopped talking about that. Instead, they've built these new GOSSAMERS we're seeing now. Seems like every major city has one. And all because I wanted to get mine.
Well, you've got yours now.
I know I made a mistake.
And you want amenity. You just because you know you made a mistake?
I want to make it right. That's what I'm saying. That's why I'm here. I'm putting forth effort. You're a hard person to find.
I try to be.
But I still found you. I still found you in this nowhere motel you're hiding in because I'm putting in the work.
So you want to help. Great. What did you have in mind?
We have to get to her. I know where they're keeping her. The executive I talked to, she told me where they're based, even for the dark stuff.
Break her out of prison. You'll have an easier time inventing time travel.
You can think of something.
Me?
Yes, it has to be you. The people I'm working with now told me about you, about your projects, about how you were building crazy stuff with people's bodies too. Some project they stopped.
Oh?
That's what she told me.
I see. So the people you're working with, they're everywhere, in everything. Of course they are. I live every day on pretty much every watch list in the country. I would be risking everything for you, who I don't even know, or her, whose naive scribbles caused this mess. The way I see it, you're both stooges. You got played because you were stupid and selfish enough to let yourself get played. And even if you hadn't given up all the secrets, someone else would have. Being a crowd doesn't make you special. Being a coward doesn't make you special. Plenty of people have no integrity.
Well, sure. The best time to find my spine would have been before I did all this. The second best time is now. Right now, with you. I'll do whatever there is to do. I'll die if I have to.
Oh, you'll definitely die.
Fine. If that's what it takes, but we have to do something. From what I hear, you never liked the Gossamers anyway.
That's right. But she has something, I don't know. Turning them off is beyond you and me. We can't do that.
Then we do something else. Please. There must be other ideas. You're smarter than me. I need your help.
I know I'm smarter than you, but that doesn't help me being smarter than you, does it? No. What good is being smart if all I'm going to do is tell people I was right? You know where she is.
I know where she is.
That's a start.
Movement 5, Scene 1, a cell. The engineers escorted in cuffs by chorus dressed as police officers who exit after shoving her into a chair.
Good morning, if it is morning. It's my understanding that sending me to DC to stand trial in person would take too long. So, after I finish this video testimony, you can judge my case remotely and pronounce me guilty before lunch. And I have to record left behind. And I have a record left behind, a body to mount on the castle walls to caution others from trying what I tried. I'm not just a criminal. I'm an example. How efficient. Well, I won't take long. I should have known you'd come for me eventually. I should have known you people would pull it into the mud with you. You corrupt and co-opt what you can't understand, and you still don't understand them, but you've managed to point them at things you have no use for, which you view as the worst quality something can have. I suspect if you couldn't make them bend for you, you would have melted them all into slag in the name of protection. But that's not why we're here, is it? No. No one was going to punish you for that, so I have to be the one to punish you. I was walking down the street the other day. I saw a father carrying his child, and the child was playing with a toy gossamer, a little plastic version of Unit Luna, cutting the air with her little toy, immune to the world's problem, this little 2-year-old ace pilot. And for a fraction of a second, she looked at me and smiled. The stupid smile of a child, indiscriminate, joy for free. But she was smiling at me, and she was holding Unit Luna. She didn't know who I was, or why I'd care about Unit Luna. She was just having fun. But it shattered me to think that this little girl might love that toy so much she dreams of it and never lets that dream go and grows up and loves these machines, these great mirrors as I had loved them, as I had always hoped someone else would love them and appreciate them as I had always hoped someone would appreciate them. And she follows that dream and ends up as I am. And it would be my fault. I have doomed her with dreaming. So that's why I was trying to upload a virus to your systems. I wanted to cut every string for those awful monstrosities. That's when you caught me. This is not a confession of guilt. This is an acceptance of responsibility. Gossamer configuration KZ-9-T44 build theta. Sharing with all networks. Open the last lift gate. Execute gift protocol. Thank you for everything, Dreamer. Now, good night.
A brief flicker of the lights.
I couldn't destroy the idea, but the Gossamers are tied to me. Luna's heartbeat was built with the rhythm of mine, and that same signal runs through every Gossamer, like every word is made of some part of 26 letters, repeatedly infinite. That is the vocabulary. Without it, there is no expressing, no communicating. The link between the Gossamers is elusive. It is not physical. It's maybe only theoretical, but that's enough. Because I intend to finish my goal. This frequency, this signal, are the Gossamers listening? I know at least one is. The original processor, Unit Luna's original heart that I built on my apartment floor with a screwdriver, I know it is still on. And I know that all of the other Gossamers, whether they are watching or not, listening to me or not, are listening to each other. And the words I just said in my voice, the voice that turned them on, giving the gift of rest, those words are the kill code. Spreading from my lips to their ears, spreading to each other. No one escapes. You stopped me from doing it to your models when you found me. So now every one of them will have to get hurt. Oh, I imagine it's going to be a disaster. I have unmade the system. Every drive is being scrubbed, every operating system ground to nothing, the language smothered out. It was so easy to end them in terms of labor involved. So simple. Undone. I couldn't destroy the idea. I wish I could kill my first terrible thought, but thinking that proves that I can't. So this was the next best thing. And I know the knowledge is out there. There is no solitary great men of history. I know someone else could figure out the Gossamer model, and someday this will happen again, only worse. This thought will haunt me as long as I am alive. I am a maker of beasts. And I am responsible. I eagerly await your ruling.
Chorus storm in to seize the engineer and drag her away. Scene 2. Chorus, except the actor playing the astronaut, enter as seams. They move, choreographed as their Gossamers break down and freeze up.
Warning, Gossamer is failing.
Warning, signal pattern lost.
Synaptic signal interrupted, no response logged, neural pathways deconstructed.
Error.
Seam access rejected. Ejecting.
Delphinus performing emergency surfacing.
All Gossamers are opening and spitting up whoever they held.
Error.
Warning.
Error.
Warning.
Multiple aircraft crashing on foreign soil.
2 Gossamers have crashed into an oil site.
Total system failure.
Worldwide malfunction.
Get me out of here.
Do we have signal on Theta Squad?
No ETA, no coordinates.
Warning.
Lights going out. Systems are all down.
Warning.
Just empty mountains now. Slain dragons.
Warning.
The body is not responding. The body is still, and our hearts are all going mad. The body is still.
We've lost the right to move them. The body is still. The body is cold.
Warning. Warning. Warning.
Scene 3. The astronaut in the darkened cockpit of Sagada.
I hope you get this. I don't know what happened here, but something came through this signal. I was fast asleep and I heard the engineer's voice coming through, staticky and rough. And then the whole thing shut down. Sigita, she's asleep and she's not waking up. All the life support systems are still hanging in there. I'm not suffocating yet. I'm not starving yet. but it doesn't seem like I'm going to make it back to you. I'd rather not talk about that. Let's think about something else. Space is big. It really humbles you. And it makes me forget what I look like, where my body stops and the space outside starts, and where Sagita is in between. It all feels of the same piece. Anything you say, any joke you tell, any song you sing, doesn't matter how good or bad you are, this void will not be moved. No laughs, no boos, no feedback of any kind. Just you and yourself. Sometimes I think you'd have handled this better than me. You are always better than me at knowing what to do on your own. I always need someone to impress. So, impressed yet? That was a joke. I'll assume that you knew it was a joke. You knew it was a joke and you're laughing like an idiot now. Okay. Well, let's envision me coming back and seeing you and breaking down crying and hugging you even when I'm swarmed with reporters and adoring fans that will pay through the nose for our stories. And we can retire in a week and live our remaining days in a cabin in the mountains. And our remaining days are going to be long because of modern science, and neither one of us has to die. I'm looking forward to that. I hope this reaches you. Don't forget what I look like. I love you. Over and out.
Scene 4. The engineer in her cell. She sits on the floor, obscured in shadow.
Whoever's out there, come on in. The only sin in here is context, the crime of seeing the whole picture. But all the same, it's the end of my time, I guess. No more moves to make. No more time for any more ideas, so put an end to it.
A door swings open. A guard enters, helmet hiding their face.
Here? Not here then, okay.
This is all very charming and sad, but you need to come with me.
Oh, you're not.
A friend of yours got me into their network. Well, maybe not a friend, but she helped. The system will only be down another 40 seconds. Come with me.
The engineer takes their hand, and we transition to the front seat of a car, a desert road, a sky full of stars above them.
What you did.
I'd rather not.
I don't know if I could have. To let go, to throw them all back like that. You must have felt like God.
They're not gone. They're done, but they're not gone. We still remember dinosaurs, even remember things that never were. Unicorns, dragons. They'll never be gone.
A shooting star overhead.
We're not gone either. That's victory. Now we look for the future. Whatever we choose to do with it.
The future. The body will adapt. The mind will expand. Braided as they are. We could build a better self. We could build a better understanding. We could do, I don't know.
We could.
We could.
The engineer turns up the volume on the radio as lights slowly come down on them, staring forward and upward into the future coming toward them. End of play. Yay! That's a play, guys! Thank you everybody that joined us for this reading today. Again, there is a link to a Google form so that you can give us any feedback. There are some questions on there. If you have any other feedback that's not on the form, feel free to email us, scripts@theplagiarist.org. And thank you again to all of these wonderful actors. Thank you so much for sharing your time with us today. We really appreciate it. So yeah, that's I Build Giants by Ryan Stevens. So thanks, everybody. Steven, hit it. And by that, I mean turn off the recording. Thanks.